Hello and welcome back to another I Am AAPC interview. We are here with Jessica Halliday. Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Of course.
Can you, first of all, tell us about yourself? Where are you talking to us from? Do you have any pets? Just a little bit about you.
Okay. I am in Memphis, Tennessee, birthplace of rock and roll, home of the blues.
Nice.
I have been here, it'll be 21 years in June. So a long time. I love it here. Fell in love with the city, fell in love with the music and the people and the food. So
Love
it's
that.
my home now. I've got two cats, Roland and Peter. Roland is 19 years old. I know he's hanging on by a thread, but he's hanging in there. All he cares about is food, water, and me. So
Perfect.
that's nice. And then Peter's 9, and he's an over mess of a boy, but I love them both.
Wait, sorry, it cut out. Did you say he's overweight? It said
He's
over.
overweight. Yeah,
Oh,
he's 16 pounds.
okay.
Actually, reading the other day that cats should really only be about like 10 to 12 at his age. So
Okay.
he's a bit overweight, so we're gonna have to
He's a
look at a
hungry
diet.
boy. It's fine.
Right.
I feel like AAPC members love cats. Like
Yeah.
people always are posting photos of their cats helping them study, and it's just like
Right.
coders and cats. I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
But okay, so you're in Memphis, you've got Roland and Peter. Are you working from home? You're
Yes, I
and
work from
what
home.
is your current role?
I'm a pro-fee outpatient coder. I work for, it's called Carl Foundation Hospital there in Illinois. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
remote work. How long have you been doing that?
Today is actually my 1 year anniversary. Isn't that crazy?
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Were you working from home before COVID started, or did that change things for you?
No, I had worked from, I had done like a lot of like freelance writing and marketing and things like that beforehand. So I had worked from home before, but not like not 40 hours a week. So no.
Got it. It's an adjustment, but I'm sure Roland and Peter love having you
Oh,
there.
they do love it. I love it.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yes.
Okay, can we talk about your credentials and how you got into coding and just give me that whole
Yeah.
background?
So I am a CPC. Um, pre-COVID, I've got my master's degree in journalism advertising. So that, long story there. But
Okay.
before COVID, I was working in social media marketing, and I was doing marketing for 4 different restaurants in town. There, two of them were like fine dining. One was like, two of them were like a music venue slash restaurants.
Hmm.
And then I was also doing like bartending on the side at 2 other music venues in town. So I had three different jobs. So come COVID, all of my jobs went away because those industries took the biggest hit.
Right.
So yeah, I actually called my mom crying hysterically because I it was the first time I was ever on unemployment, and I just didn't know what to do. And I've always said I wanted to have a skill.
Yeah.
And so I called her and was just like, what do I do? I'm lost. And she basically was like, you always talked about doing medical coding in the very beginning of things. And so she was like, I've got a couple of coders that I work with. I'd be happy to have them reach out to you and tell you what they do every day. And so we did that. And like, they were just like, you have to, be able to work independently. You have to like being alone a lot. You have to like being a detective. And so all of those things were like very enticing to me. And so I called AAPC and I was just like, tell me more about this. I have very little, like, I think I worked in like a urology clinic when I was 18. I mean, and
Sure.
I think I started this whole program when I was like 41 ish. I don't remember. I don't know age anymore,
Okay.
so yeah, so I called AAPC and the guy walked me through everything. He was like, you should definitely take the medical terminology and the anatomy course. And
Hmm.
he talked me into he was like, do you learn well on your own? And I do. And so he talked me into the self-guided, course. And so here I am. I started in January of 2001. Yeah, 2001. I started in January and finished the whole course in like June.
Wait,
And
2001? I thought this was post-COVID.
no, it is. Isn't COVID? Oh, no, 2021.
21. Okay.
2021. Yeah.
I was having like an actual brain fart there. I'm so glad. Okay. Okay. All right. So you started, sorry, January 2021.
Yes, 2021. And then finished
Okay.
in June. And then, yeah,
And
here
then
I
you
am.
got this job. We're in February.
Yes. So yeah. So then I finished in June. I gave myself, my cats are starting to scream right now. I gave myself 2 months to prepare for the exam. And then I took the exam in August, passed that, and then worked, diligently doing the Practicode.
Ah,
And so
yeah.
I finished Practicode, I think in like the end of November. And then I interviewed for the job that I have now. I want to say it was December, and then got
Wow.
hired on in like January, but I didn't start until February 7th.
Sure. This story has taken so many turns. I find it so
Yeah.
interesting. First of all, I'm so sorry that you were hit by COVID. I know that it impacted so many people in so many
Mhm.
industries. But I'm sorry that happened to you. That's so
Yeah.
scary.
I'm sorry that it happened to me, but honestly, like it seriously put me down the path that I really am enjoying. So I feel like I kind
Yeah.
of benefited somehow from COVID.
Yeah.
You got to find the silver lining, right?
Sure, sure. Okay. And that your mom just had some coding friends and
Well,
she's
she
like,
worked for, I want to say she worked for Optima, like one of those like insurance companies. She was like I don't know. This is terrible that I don't know what my mom did, but it's like the director of disease management or something. I
she
don't
had
know.
some healthcare experience.
Yes, she has tons of healthcare experience.
Mhm. Wow. Okay. First, and then you passed your exam on the first try.
Yes, luckily.
That's amazing.
I know.
What did you do to prepare? Because I know that's something that people who are approaching the exam are always nervous.
Oh God.
What tips do you have for future examinees?
So I over prepared, I think. I was terrified to take the test, like I think
Mhm.
I have like PTSD from being in third grade and doing like the multiplication tables timed.
Tests
And it
are
was like,
scary.
I know.
Um,
So any time test, like, yeah, I was terrified, but I didn't really give like when I graduated, when I finished with the course in June, I didn't give myself like a set time. I was reading the Facebook page a lot, and somebody said something like, if as long as you keep taking the practice tests until you're getting like an 85, then
mhm.
you should be okay. And so I was doing the practice exams. I had the 3 practice exams, and then I was watching videos like the contempo coding, and I mean I watched every like YouTube video on
Yeah.
all of the like really the hardest parts for me, which was like E&M and cardio and all those. And then what else did I do? Oh, I made all these I down like I signed up for Quizlet. I don't know
Okay.
if you know about Quizlet. It's just like it kind of makes flashcards for you
Sure.
on your
Yeah.
computer. So I did that. I went back through all of my, exams during the course. So I over prepared for sure. And then I got to the point where I was like, I'm taking this test so much and I'm doing really well on it. And I just want to take this test and just see where I lie.
Yeah. Do you feel like the practice tests reflected the actual exam?
I do. I really do. And I know like AAPC says that, they're not harder, but I did feel like they were harder.
I have heard that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I just took them over and over again and read every rationale, even the ones that I got correct. Like I said, I
Mhm.
over prepared because I hate failing at anything, A, and B, I just wanted to get that test out of the way and move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you did a great job. I want to go back a little bit. You took this self-guided course.
Yes.
How did you feel? Obviously, it worked out for you. Do you have opinions on that? You know, because I know it's not for everyone.
No, it's definitely not for everybody. I know a lot of people learn better in a setting where, there's somebody to, talk to about things and ask questions constantly. But for me, it was great. And also, like I said, I had no jobs. I was on unemployment. So I made it my full-time job. I did it 8 hours a day.
Oh,
So
wow.
I seriously just pushed myself through it all.
Yeah.
So, and it
Okay.
worked out great for me. And anytime I had questions, I would just email AAPC and they would always reply quickly. And they were really, really good. They were giving me like extra side notes and stuff. I wasn't really impressed with how they were.
I'm so happy to hear you had such a good experience. Okay, and then my last question is regarding Practicode.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your experience with that?
Really hard. Very hard. Especially, I guess I just didn't even know what to expect. But when I got in there, I was super lost at first. So again, another email to AAPC, like help. But again, that was just another thing where I was like, okay, I am going to try to code 50 cases a week, like 10 a day for the 5 days. And some days I'm like, I cannot do this right now. Like I don't have any brain energy left.
Yeah.
And so I would do like, 2 or 3 one day, and then maybe I would do 20 another day. But, I just kept pushing myself through it. Because honestly, like I did talk to somebody that told me that when you get your A removed, you do get like into the higher pay scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'll get that A removed then.
Yeah. So it was hard, but worth it. Would you recommend Practicode?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I definitely think that it shows you more about like real life coding, I feel like.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think we
because
use the
you're
term
more like reading the note and trying to find what you need to find within the note. So yeah.
Yeah. I think we use the term like real world cases because we're using like real redacted medical records. And
yeah.
So wow, it sounds like beyond the beginning where COVID impacted your career, it was
better.
smooth sailing though. I mean, obviously you put like a lot of work into it, but it sounds like and you use the AAPC Facebook group, which I always love to jump in there and see what everyone's saying, and they can answer your questions. Do you do
I loved the Facebook group when I was on it. It's kind of gotten a little crazier than, I mean, I haven't been on it for a minute, but I mean, everybody was so helpful when I was on it. I loved it. It really got me through. I'd get on there and be like, oh, I'm having so much trouble. And, people would be like, DM me on the side. I'll help you figure it out. So everybody was so helpful. So
I love that coder community. I feel like that is, every time I look at the Facebook group, that is, people are always so helpful. And that's so great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just keep asking you questions. I'm so interested in your story. Have you been to like local chapter meetings or like conferences or events or anything? I know you're like pretty new to all of this. I'm just curious.
So I have only done the virtual meetings for my chapter, but I have been to several, and there I've had some really interesting presentations that I've seen that have made a lot more sense now that I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually on the National Board of Advisors. The National Advisory Board, the NAB.
The NAB. I knew that. And I'm so glad you brought it up because I didn't want to forget to. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was on the Facebook page and they did like a a live video of, how they needed like new board members. And, he was just like, it doesn't matter your experience and all this stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to apply for it. Like, it can't hurt me, to apply. And so I applied for it, and then I got an interview. I was so shocked that I got an interview. I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, you're interviewing me? I have no experience. But yeah, I just think kind of where it lied after, COVID hitting, I think a lot of people were changing over to that path. And so I was just like, there's an opportunity for somebody like me to be on the board with having no experience and just going through this whole course. So
I mean, I think there's a lot of value in having different people with different experiences on the board. And the fact that you are new and you're post-COVID and all of that, I think that is very relevant and will be extremely helpful. So happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I think my last question for you is just going to be like, is there anything else you want to share with the AAPC community?
I know I hear a lot of people, frustrated that they're not finding jobs. And like, I would just to speak to that, like you really have to put yourself out there. You have to network. You have to put tons of resumes out. I think I put like 25 to 50 resumes out a week. Like I lost count because I was applying to everything. And, I knew better than to apply to anything that was like, oh, we want 3 years of experience. But I was, if they're like, we want 1 year, I would apply to that, and you really have to push yourself to try to, get out there and get what you want, because, it's not going to just fall in your lap. I mean, Mine kind of did.
But you put a lot of work into it.
I did. I put a lot of work into it. I mean, and then it was honestly the Facebook page where I got my job. I posted a post. I was like, brand new coder here, just passed my test, need a job. And she's my supervisor now. She was like, we're hiring, apply to our place. And so I did.
I love that. Jessica, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye.